did you gain from that?
I suppose we gained in the first quarter against Port Howe. We weren't switched on at all to come and play against an opposition team. It was like we're coming out for a training session and we weren't switched on at all. I thought defensively we were really poor and we probably should have been maybe 5, 6, 7 goals down, which wasn't the way that we wanted to start 2012. I thought after that we sort of got going, and in the second quarter of that game we started to tackle and put some pressure and that on, and then in the third game it was a real contest, probably over-possessed the ball a bit, but maybe because we were starved so much of the ball in the first game there was a real shift. But it was good to get a game. You know, we found out, you know, Buckley's got a real future. It was great to see. Fraser Dale showed some promise. Bootsma probably struggled a bit in the first one but played all right in the second game, so we got to find out about a few players. We probably had a real focus on managing our list and players from time point of view, so we had some, I suppose, strategic things in there that regardless of what the score was, we were going to take a Laidler off or Carrazzo and these players instead of trying to run out the game and win it. It wasn't as big a emphasis on getting our list right going forward.
So this time of year, Brad, it doesn't matter too much in terms of the end result, even though you lost both narrow?
Not really. We want to make sure our performance is to a level that we expect, and there's no doubt in the first game it wasn't. It doesn't matter who we play, the kids or older players. So we're a little bit disappointed in that first quarter against Port. We got outnumbered, outworked in all aspects of the game. But we've really found this is a great teaching tool for some of the kids, and we use it as a reference point throughout the season in their quest to play AFL football. And, you know, Davey Allard, I think, started and we gave him the first NAB Cup game in his first year as a rookie, and we've done that right across the board. We've taken kids to South Africa to play, given everyone at least 10 minutes of football so they could look back and reflect on that game and where they sit. So from that point of view, we've always done the same thing in the 5 years, and we'll keep going as long as I'm coached to give those kids a chance to play.
Looking at some of your senior players, I thought Cruiser showed some good signs.
Yeah, he did. It's good to see how he's moving around the ground now. He looks really back to his best from that point of view, agility-wise and that, so it's great, yeah.
Not just him, I guess Sean Hampson as well really put his hand up too to, I guess, create a bit of pressure for Robbie Warner.
Yeah. There's, I suppose all those big fellas are all fighting for that number one mantle at the football club, and whether they're the tall forward or the number one ruckman, there's probably 2 spots in the team. So, yeah, someone's going to have to miss out, so they're fighting pretty hard.
I guess the onus is on Sean, given I guess last year he didn't play much senior football.
Well, yeah, that's right. He was playing pretty good football till he got injured, and then that really hindered his season, and then he had a fair chunk of the back end of the year off, and when he did find some form, he got injured pre the final again.
Yeah. A few of the other coaches have been critical of the TV technical thing, checking whether they're goals or not goals, and also the sub rule. Have you got any thoughts on the TV technology?
I'm not worried about the technology thing.
Would you like to see it happen?
It doesn't bother me, no.
And the sub rule, did that cause you any headaches?
We lost by 3 points to Port, was it? And we had an interchange sub rule infringement.
Yeah.
So you worked that one out.
Is it too harsh, do you think, perhaps, a penalty?
Maybe if you just put the wrong number down on a score chart and then it costs you a goal, it'd be like, maybe putting the wrong goal down for the bloke who kicked it. Yeah.
What was the early feedback from the players on the heat?
They did find it hot, and it's interesting to find the perspex and that of the ground too, actually sitting under there, so the players got out from there. But I think the AFL did a great job to boost the subs, so we had a little bit more flexibility, and then to reduce the game time by 2.5 minutes, and also the breaks longer, because we ask so much of the players, and to ask them to push themselves to the limit in February, I think it's really hard for them to then make sure that they're playing good football at the back end of the season. So I think from the AFL's point of view, we got the news this morning at 10:30 from Curly, and away we went and just structured up a little bit different. But I thought it was a great move, because we want to look after the players. That's what people come to see, and that's where the game's at. We want to see the great players of the game playing as long as possible.
So I thought you contested pretty good, and your clearance work was really good in that second game. It's like that's building, and obviously when Jody comes back,
Yeah, it was interesting. We were just really off our game early. It looked, like we were out there in the pre-game warm-up, and Port were really hunting up. To their credit, they started the game great, but I thought we were really off our game, and I suppose we put that on that group of men in the second game to make sure that we didn't start the same. So Murphy, as one of our leaders at our football club, I suppose, led the charge there, and I think we lost the first 2 centre bounces as well. So it was sort of starting to go exactly the other way, but then we really cleaned it up and away we went.
Could you talk us through Matty Cruz's ninth pointer in that first game? Did you sort of get a good glimpse of that from your perspective?
I did. I was calling the players in to say a few stern words and watched him kick the 9-pointer as it bounced through and thought, how lucky are we to be within 3 points of the opposition? We should have been maybe 4, 5 or 6 goals down at that point in the game. So I said football can sometimes be unfair in some instances, but we got a chance to win the game, but we weren't good enough on the day.
Just looking ahead, perhaps Jody play next week?
Probably not. Probably more the Brisbane game. And, Waite will be the Brisbane game. Robertson will be the Brisbane game. Dygan will be the Brisbane game. And Jamison will probably be the Brisbane game as well. So, and we might tinker with, does Murphy play the Brisbane game? Not sure. It's a 6-day turnaround from the Bulldogs to Brisbane, so we'll have a look at our list to manage that, to make sure that the heat factor and travel and all that, we make sure that their program's set and we won't change.
So the reason for holding Jody back is not quite right, or just...
No, he can play. He could play, but we don't need to... It's not like this is his second or third pre-season. He's played a lot of footy, and as I said, we need to look after people through the season and manage them as well, which I think we all learned from Geelong, how well they did it and what great reward they had at the end of the year with their list nice and healthy, and that's the challenge, I think, for every team in the competition.
The injury was come through okay?
Yes, Tui was a little bit sore, but more general, he just felt a bit tight, so we left him out of the second game, but I think everyone was, touch wood, good.
And Gibbs and Murphy probably likely to play a full game next week, would they?
Yeah, they'll play at least, probably with the sub rule, it makes it tough to play players for 3 quarters. How you get that, it makes it when you've got 2 or 3 or 4 players that you want to play for 3 quarters. We had that today, but we sort of had to make the call, do we play them for longer or do we just play them for a half? And that was the call we made with Simpson, Gibbs and Murphy, who we at the start thought would play for 3 quarters, but it just, when we crunched the numbers and how you did that, it was very hard to get it done. So we just said, we'll just play them for a half this week and full game next week. Yeah.